Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today let's solve another Leetcode problem today. Now let's solve Leetcode problem number 24, swap nodes in pairs. So the problem is like this. We are given a linked list. For example, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we need to swap those two nodes. 1 and 2 should be 2 and 1. So 3 and 4 should be 4, 2, 3. And then we just need to return this linked list. For example, if there's nothing in head, we just need to return nothing inside, return empty. So if there's a 1, we just need to return this head 1. Basically, for this kind of a problem, I need 3 steps. So the first step is to count how many nodes in total. Because I will swap as a group. If there are 4 nodes, I need 2 swaps. If there are 2 nodes, I only need 1 swap. The next is I need to define a function. Define swap node function. And the last step is get the result. Now let me explain it in whiteboard first before I write any code. Yeah, so this is what I drawn before. I think I saved the previous drawing. Now I can save you time and explain it clearly what happened for each of the step. For example, for this one, we will define a dummy node. So the dummy node will be pointed to this head pointed to 1, and we also need to define 2 pointers, the previous p pointer and current pointer. So the current is pointed to the head. After definition, as I said before, we can count how many nodes in total. For this one, we can use the head node to count how many. There are 4. We don't need to count the dummy because it is not included. We just need to count how many nodes from the head. So there are 4 nodes in total. And for each of the steps, we need, as I said, I will define the swap node function. So how to swap the node? For example, this is 1 and 2. So this is the current, this is the previous. So it's similar like a reverse node, but here we just need to let this 1 pointed to 3, 2 pointed to 1, and this dummy node pointer pointed to 2. How can we make that? As I already explained, we need to check which is safe. If we cannot make 1 pointed to 3 first, what if we will make 2? For example, 2 to 1 first. Yeah, if 2 to 1 first, how can we find this number, this node 3? We cannot find. So this is why we have a sequence of how to connect the node. So let's use this one. The next node will be current.next. So C is current. Current.next is here. It pointed to the node 2. C.next. So the current.next should be next.next. So this node 1 will connect it to 3. And after that, the next.next, the 2 will connect it to 1 because it will go to previous.next. 2 will connect it to 1 and previous.next. So this dummy node will connect it to 2. So after finishing this swap node function, so this is what I'm gonna put inside my swap node function. After finishing this swap node function, we get the new linked list. It is a dummy node connected to 2, 1, 3, and 4. 3 and 4 we didn't change, yeah, because it will be in the next step. So after the first step, the p pointer, previous pointer, is still here. So here will be the next pointer. It pointed to 2, and the current pointer is 1. Yeah. Now let's check. So this current pointer is still 1. After that, we need to shift the previous pointer and the current pointer. Yeah, because we want to shift another group, 3 and 4. So the previous pointer will goes to the current, and the current will goes to the current.next. So this p pointer, previous pointer, pointed to 1, and current pointer pointed to 3. After this step, we will use another swap function. And another function is this is previous. We just needed to swap this 3 and 4. For swap 3 and 4, it's also the same. We use this kind of a swap function to swap 3 and 4 to 4 and 3. So I didn't make the drawing here, but basically after finish it will be, the drawing is here. The dummy node pointed to 2, 2 pointed to 1, 1 pointed to 4, and pointed to 3. So this is our result. So we just need to return dummy.next. I think this is basically the whole idea of how to solve this problem. Now let me code it up here. So for our first step, let's count the total number of nodes. But before we count the node, we should define the dummy node and the previous pointer. It is a linked list node, and we should also define. We should also let the previous pointer pointed to the previous pointer pointed to the head, and also current pointer should also point to the head. So this is our definition. And then we also need to define a total. From 0, we need to count how many nodes in total. So the total should plus 1 and head equals head.next. I think we used a lot of this function to count how many nodes in total. So this is basically finished the first step, count total. The second step is define a function called swap node. So I will use a swap node function. As I already explained, the 4 lines of code inside the function is here. So for this 4 lines of code, as I explained, we should make a drawing. Use a pen and paper to write this 4 lines of code. If we prove it works, we can write it in our code editor. I think it should work. So the next should equal to current.next, and current.next should point it to next.next, and next.next should point to the previous dot next, and previous dot next should point it to next. So this is basically the swap node function. So here we will get our result. We just need to use a for loop for I in range total divided by 2, because what we asked is swap a pair, one pair by another, swap every 2 adjacent nodes. And inside we should use the swap node function. After the swap node function, we just need to shift the previous and current to the current and current.next. That's basically the entire code. Now let me just return the dummy.next to check if it really works. Now let me submit it to check if it can pass all the testing cases. As you can see, it works. It is like 29% of all submissions, but that doesn't matter because the time complexity for this algorithm is still O(n). N is 100. That's basically all my code for today. Thank you. If you think this is helpful, please like and subscribe. I will upload more Leetcode problem like this. Thank you. Bye.